You didn't find this video by accident. It wasn't curiosity. It wasn't luck. It was the vibrational field of the universe calling you. And now that you're here, something very ancient is about to be revealed. In the words that follow, you won't hear canned phrases. You'll feel codes being activated inside you. But pay attention. This content isn't for those looking for quick tricks or pre-packaged spirituality. It's for those who can feel that something is changing. And maybe you've already felt it. In the last few days, that unexplained anxiety, a sudden urge to cry without knowing why, or the feeling that nothing makes sense anymore. These symptoms aren't weakness. They're signs that your vibrational field is undergoing a conscious collapse. And when that happens, the universe responds, not with words, but with callings. This video is one of them, because Thoth left knowledge hidden for centuries. Something so powerful it was silenced out of fear, not because it was dangerous, but because it works. And if you've made it this far, it's because the key to self-healing has found you. But why is it that only a few can access this secret from Thoth? And why was it forbidden? The universe is not made of things, but of patterns, and the pattern you hold is the world you live in. Have you ever noticed that even when you try to change, everything still feels stuck? You read books, watch videos, make affirmations, meditate, pray with faith, ask for guidance. But it seems like the more you try, the harder things get. Like there's some invisible force pulling everything back to the same place. And no matter how much your mind believes, no matter how much your heart wants it, the results don't come. You feel the calling. You know there's something more. But in practice, nothing moves. This isn't a coincidence. It's a symptom of an energetic block that isn't in your thoughts, but in your field. Thoth taught that there's a vibrational mesh surrounding the body, an invisible but active field. It's what receives, stores, and projects your energy into the universe. It's what controls the exchange between you and reality. But what few people know is that this field also holds distortions. Like invisible scars, these distortions are formed over your life, and they have nothing to do with positive or negative thinking. They're caused by emotional shocks, inherited beliefs, unprocessed traumas, forgotten memories that still vibrate like they just happened. And each one of these marks changes the tone of your frequency. Like adding noise to the music you're trying to send out to the universe. Imagine trying to play a song with out-of-tune instruments. You might have the right melody, the perfect rhythm, but the sound comes out weird, disconnected, and no one can understand it. That's what happens when you try to co-create a new reality without first clearing your field. You might have good intentions. You might be doing everything right. But if the field is distorted, the frequency won't align with the outcome. The energy gets stuck. And the scariest part? These distortions become invisible over time. The body gets used to it. The mind adjusts. And you start thinking it's normal to live in fear, carry guilt, repeat patterns. You accept lack as part of life. You tolerate cold relationships. You learn to survive without vitality, all because the field got corrupted and no one taught you how to notice. And this is exactly where the hidden conflict lies. You think the problem is in your circumstances, that you're missing money, support, time, luck. But all of that is just a reflection, a mirror. The real block is vibrating around you, right now, like a silent virus. And the more you ignore it, the stronger it gets. Thoth compared these blocks to vibrational parasites, not because they're evil entities like common spiritual talk tends to imagine, but because they act like corrupted codes. They infiltrate, repeat, drain energy, sabotage intentions, and cancel manifestations. They slowly steal your vitality. They make you doubt yourself, leave you exhausted, confused, discouraged. And you know what's worse? You start thinking it's your fault, that you're not trying hard enough, that you need to push more, believe more, do more. But there's no point in stepping on the gas if the brake is on. No use planting if the soil is poisoned. These distortions don't go away with effort or with blind faith. They only dissolve when they're seen, recognized, decoded. And that's where the shift begins, because Thoth left a hidden key for this. But why does no one talk about it? Because the symbol Thoth revealed to identify these distortions was hidden from official history, disguised as myth, diluted into misunderstood archetypes. Most people look but don't see, read but don't understand. It's present in ancient temples, carved into stones, repeated in manuscripts many call symbolic, but almost no one realizes what it actually activates. Thoth left a symbol to identify these blocks, and most never notice. The forgotten symbol in your field. First secret access. Because it's not carved in stone, nor written in any ancient language, it's happening inside you, right now. This symbol has no shape, no color, no name, but it repeats like a silent melody that plays every time something important is about to emerge from your consciousness. It's what Thoth called the mark of repetition, a hidden vibrational signature behind the experiences that frustrate you the most. It's that same argument that keeps coming back, the same feeling of abandonment, the same struggle with money, the same kind of person showing up in your relationships, the same setbacks that appear every time something starts going right. And you think it's bad luck, karma, life. But it's none of that. They're codes, vibrational repetitions that only show up because your field is still carrying unintegrated distortions. These repetitions don't punish you, they reveal you. Because every time a pattern comes back, it's trying to be seen with new eyes. The external reality actually works like a holographic mirror. What you can't see inside, life repeats outside until something awakens, until the vibration changes. And this is the first hidden secret behind the symbol. The symbol isn't an image, it's a cycle. But not every cycle is karmic. Not every repetition is a punishment. Most of the cycles holding you back today are just fields that haven't been cleared, and that's why they keep echoing in the same tone. An unhealed trauma vibrates, a repressed emotion vibrates, a scarcity belief vibrates, and while they vibrate, they keep attracting experiences that match that same tone. Thoth said, "The field doesn't judge, it just responds." So, if your life feels like a loop, it's not because the universe is against you, it's because it's showing you where the code is stuck. And as long as you only try to change your thoughts, or just your actions, you'll keep hitting the same wall. True change begins when you identify the pattern and recognize what it's trying to say. That's the point where everything starts to shift, because when you see the symbol, it loses its power. The repetition begins to dissolve. The field, little by little, changes its tone. You stop reacting. You start choosing. And what once held you back, now reveals you. What once hurt, now teaches you. What once limited, now expands you. But here's a detail that almost no one understands. This process doesn't just depend on awareness. It requires alignment. Because if the field is out of sync, even the most powerful truth can't be integrated. It's like trying to record new sound on an old tape. If the equipment's broken, the sound won't go in. And there's a specific way to break that cycle. But it only works if the field is aligned. Because the field responds before your mind does. You can repeat 1,000 times that you deserve abundance. You can visualize wealth, health, love. You can do rituals, light candles, write letters to the universe. But if your vibrational field is in conflict with what you want, the result will always be the same: blockage. That's why so many people give up. They believe they're not trying hard enough, that they don't have enough faith, that they don't know how to manifest properly. But the truth is different. The mind can project an intention, but it's your vibration that speaks to the universe. And Thoth was very clear about this. The field rules over mental intention. That changes everything, because for centuries, humanity believed that positive thinking was enough, that if you just kept your mind focused, repeated affirmations, visualized hard enough, the universe would respond. But that's only part of the equation, the most superficial part. The mind is a mirror, but the field is the source. And if the mirror is clean, but the water is still murky, nothing changes. The reflection might look nice, but the frequency coming from you still carries scarcity, fear, resistance. It's like wishing with words, but vibrating with doubt. Like smiling on the outside, but crying on the inside. The universe doesn't respond to what you fake. It responds to what you vibrate. And this is where the first major shift happens. Because once you understand this, everything you were taught about manifestation starts to feel incomplete. You start to realize why so many things that seemed right just didn't work. Why, even with good intentions, the same results kept repeating. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't a lack of worthiness. It was vibrational misalignment. The mind desires, but the field authorizes. And between those two, there's a forgotten hierarchy. A hierarchy that needs to be reversed if you really want to see reality change. Because when the field leads and the mind follows, everything flows. But when the mind leads without vibrational harmony, it just flails in the void. The mind lies. The energy doesn't. That quote from Thoth might sound harsh, but it's freeing. Because it shows you don't need to fight your thoughts anymore, or battle your emotions. You just need to access the right tone in the field. When the vibration changes, thought aligns. Emotion reorganizes. Life responds. For real. And there's a specific point in your field where this begins. A kind of energy rift. A crack where the old dissolves and the new can come in. An invisible but powerful space that many traditions have tried to explain with names like state of presence, coherent heart, sacred silence. But the name doesn't matter. What matters is that this crack exists, and it can be activated. Because right there, at that exact vibrational point, the impossible becomes possible. Reality begins to bend, patterns bow down, synchronicities explode, and matter finally begins to obey spirit. But there is a vibrational crack where the impossible happens, and it's inside you. The point of energetic activation, first glimpse of hidden power. This hidden point is older than any modern technique. It wasn't created, it wasn't taught, it was already there, waiting to be awakened. It's as if the universe left a secret mark inside your field, a point of energetic activation, a silent center that, when touched, starts to reorganize everything. Thoth called this point the eye that listens, a metaphor for the place in you that doesn't see with eyes or hear with ears. It perceives, it feels, it recognizes truth without effort, without noise, without needing mental convincing. Because this point is pure coherence. And what is coherence on this level? It's when your body, your field, and your consciousness all vibrate the same thing. There's no contradiction between what you think, feel, and emit. It's like everything aligns in a single melody, a vibrational note that cuts through the chaos and creates a direct bridge with the whole. In this state, the universe recognizes you. Reality stops resisting, and you begin to access a power that doesn't need to prove anything because it simply is. The craziest part? This activation doesn't happen through effort. It doesn't require control or forced concentration, much less complicated techniques, because this point doesn't respond to anything external. It opens in the silence, in the space between one breath and another, in the moment you stop searching and just allow yourself to be. Be whole. Be present. Be alive with everything that is. When the body enters this state of vibrational presence, it transforms into a radar. It's like you become a subtle receiver, able to pick up signals from the universe that you used to miss. The ancients called this vibrational listening. It's when life starts whispering what you've always wanted to hear, but were too busy trying to figure out with your mind. And this point is in you right now. It doesn't need to be created, it just needs to be remembered. And when this point of coherence is touched, everything begins to reorganize around it. Old patterns lose strength, trapped emotions begin to move, physical symptoms shift behavior. Even your perception of time changes. It's as if a new reality starts to be born, not from the outside, but from the inside out. That's why true power isn't in what you say or what you imagine, but in the frequency you hold while all of that happens. Activation begins there, in that forgotten point, in that eye that listens, because it's from there that your field stops reacting and starts creating. But to activate this point, you need to remove an invisible noise that's been sabotaging you for years. This noise doesn't scream, it whispers constantly, disguised as common thought, old memories, automatic judgment. It's like an echo that vibrates below consciousness, but shapes your entire outer reality. Thoth called it the silent saboteur. And it doesn't live in your environment or in other people. It lives in how you see yourself. This saboteur has a name: distorted self-identity. It's the image you unconsciously hold of yourself. That feeling of being less, of not deserving, of always chasing after something that always seems out of reach. It's a vibrational way of seeing yourself that's stuck in emotional repetitions, and that's exactly what your field emits. It doesn't matter what you visualize. If the identity vibrating in your field is still based on scarcity, abandonment, struggle, rejection, or fear, the universe doesn't respond to your desire. It responds to your vibration. And that's what confuses so many people. You can affirm beautiful things, perform powerful rituals, repeat positive phrases every day. But if deep down, you still feel the same, the field doesn't change. Because your vibration is still trapped in emotional history. It's like trying to tune in to a channel of peace while broadcasting on a war frequency. Distorted self-identity is the biggest vibrational block there is. It's sneaky. It hides behind personality, humility, healed trauma. But behind every sabotage, there's a belief about who you think you are, and what you believe you are is what you vibrate. And what you vibrate is what you live. That's why sometimes you feel tired even after sleeping, or sad for no reason, or stuck even with so many ideas. Because your field is trying to protect an image of who you were and not allowing the frequency of who you truly are to take its place. The good news? This identity can be broken. It's not who you are. It's just what you were taught to be. A vibrational defense created in moments of pain, frozen in time. But that time has passed. And now your vibration wants to breathe again. Thoth knew this. And that's why he left a method, a forgotten vibrational practice that works directly on the field and breaks this programming without needing words. But it's not done with affirmations, or mantras, or rational explanations. It's something more subtle, deeper, more real. Thoth left an ancient technique to break this identity. But it's not done with words. The hidden gesture of the initiates, a subtle yet real practice. In the ancient temples of silence, the initiates didn't speak. They practiced something much more powerful. the invisible gesture, an act that isn't external, but vibrational. It was called active silence. Active silence isn't about staying quiet. It's entering a state where thought stops interfering and the field starts speaking. A point of vibrational neutrality where there's no pressure, no expectation, no attempt to force reality. Just presence. And presence isn't being here with your body, it's being here with everything. This gesture was trained as a sacred practice. It didn't involve visible movement or elaborate rituals. It was done with the spine straight, chest open, feet grounded, breath soft, and most importantly, complete inner surrender. A vibrational posture where the ego calms, the mind quiets, and the body becomes a channel. Nothing is asked, nothing is visualized, nothing is resisted, everything is felt. In this state, the field stops repeating the old and starts tuning into the new. The ancients called this the invisible gesture because, on the outside, it looks like nothing is happening. But on the inside, it's as if the whole field is being reorganized, like a river returning to its original bed. Energy begins to flow more freely. The body releases old tensions, the mind rests, and the heart starts to emit a frequency of truth. It's in this silence that the distorted identity starts to dissolve effortlessly. Because there's no fight, no internal battle, just a return. A return to something that was always there, but that you had forgotten how to access. And when this gesture is held long enough, a door begins to open. Not a physical door, or a metaphorical one. A vibrational portal. A space in the field where original memories begin to emerge, not as mental recollections, but as vibrations. And it's at this point that something deep begins to happen. You start to remember. You start to remember that you are more than what they told you, more than the stories you repeated, more than a name, a nationality, a social security number, a past. You are a field, a frequency, a consciousness in the form of presence. And when that remembering moves through the body, everything changes. You no longer have to struggle to manifest, because the field starts to manifest on its own, but not based on desire, based on coherence. Because now, what vibrates in you is what you are. And reality starts to reflect that perfectly. That feeling of effort disappears. Doubt loses strength. Decisions become clear. You stop repeating patterns and start living answers. Life stops being a cycle of survival and becomes an expression of your real vibration. This is the moment the field changes. But not because you did something out there. It changed because you remembered who you are. And that remembering isn't an idea. It's a vibration, and vibration is sovereign. But the forbidden secret of Thoth is only revealed to those who hold that frequency. The forbidden secret of Thoth. Because it's not enough to hear an ancient truth. You have to vibrate with it, and what comes next can only be accessed by those who've stopped trying to be what others are, and started remembering what they truly are. The most common mistake people make when they awaken is trying to follow someone else's path. Copy formulas. Apply success models like they're universal recipes. But the field doesn't respond to copies. The universe doesn't echo duplications. It vibrates originality. Thoth said it clearly. The field is the architect of the real. It doesn't replicate. It creates. And that's why every attempt to imitate someone, whether in spirituality, manifestation, love, or business, leads to the same place: frustration. Because your field doesn't recognize as truth anything that didn't come from your own frequency. It doesn't uphold the illusion of a character. It breaks the character and demands presence. That's why so many people use powerful techniques and still feel empty. On the outside, it seems aligned, but on the inside, the field is saying, this isn't yours. This didn't come from your vibration. This is an outside reflection trying to shape something that can only be born from within. The field isn't activated by formulas, it's activated by authenticity. Vibrational authenticity isn't about being different from others, it's about being true to your origin. It's when you stop trying to reach for something and start expressing what's always been waiting inside you. It's when the focus shifts from desire to essence, and in that moment, creation begins. Not the creation of what others have, but the creation of what only you can bring into this world. Thoth called this the point of vibrational remembrance, the moment when the being becomes the creator, not because they learned a technique, but because they peeled away the layers that blocked them from vibrating what they already were. That's why true manifestation isn't the result of effort. It's the consequence of alignment. When your field stops behaving like a copy and starts pulsing as the source, everything changes. You stop repeating the world and start generating reality. This is the real portal, and that's why few access it. Because it takes vibrational courage. Courage to stop following maps and start walking with your own inner compass. Courage to let go of molds and trust that what's pulsing in you is enough. Because it is. And now, finally, it's time to reveal the forbidden secret. But before you hear it, you need to understand why it was hidden. For centuries, the ancient schools knew that this teaching, if misunderstood, could be distorted and used to manipulate others, instead of awakening the truth within. That's why it was encoded in symbols, metaphors, and silences. Only those vibrating at a certain frequency could understand. Because this secret isn't information, it's activation. Here it is. The universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you sustain. Desire is fragile. Everybody wants. But the field doesn't move by passing once. It responds to what vibrates in you consistently. Real manifestation doesn't happen because you asked hard enough, but because you became compatible. Thoth explained that there's a difference between imagining and embodying, between wanting a result and being the frequency of the result. Reality doesn't bend to words. It mirrors states. If you sustain fear, even while smiling, the universe responds to fear. If you vibrate scarcity even while speaking prosperity, the universe responds to scarcity. But when you hold a vibration of coherence, where emotion, intention, and action move as one, the field reorganizes. What was blocked dissolves. What was impossible moves closer. What felt far away manifests. Because you're no longer trying to create, you're being. And this is where the forbidden secret fully reveals itself. Manipulating energy isn't about control. It's about remembering. It's not effort. It's return. You don't create realities with tension. You manifest with coherence. You don't transform the world around you with techniques. You transform it when your frequency becomes truth. And here's the paradox. The less you try to force, the more you manifest. Because the field doesn't move through effort, it moves through resonance. This is the point where mind, emotion, and vibration align, where wanting disappears and being takes over. At this point, you don't repeat mantras, you become the mantra. You don't need to ask anymore, because reality already recognizes what pulses in you. And if you've made it this far, it's because you've already started remembering, because only those who are already vibrating differently can hold this truth without fear. And maybe, without realizing it, you're already activating the same field that Thoth taught to the silent initiates. If you felt this message vibrate inside you, then comment right now. I remember who I was before I forgot. That's your vibrational password. And when you write it, you anchor that frequency into the field. And hey, don't leave just yet, because a special video has been prepared for you to continue this journey. It's showing on the screen now. Click so we can meet there and keep activating this awareness. And if you want to support this work more directly, there's a link in the pinned comment where you can contribute to help this kind of content reach those who need it. Or, if you prefer, use the Thanks a Lot button here on YouTube. Besides supporting the channel, you'll also help spread this vibration to the collective. See you at the next frequency. Talk soon.